I, 38M, am having some issues with my girlfriend, 35F, and her friend, 39M. Some context. My, 38M, previous relationship ended because my ex, 36F, was sending underwear pics to her best friend. I should never have been in a relationship with her from the get-go, but it is what it is. When I ended the relationship, I swore to myself I'd never put myself in that situation again. I would not enter into a relationship with a woman who kept close male friends. I realized that not all women would behave the way my ex did, and this agreement with myself was very generalized and unrealistic. I have friends of the opposite sex and I'm a fairly secure person, so I canned that ideology and replaced it with, no women who maintain friendships with guys they've been intimate with previously. I don't think that's too out there as a rule. 4 months ago I met someone, we'll call her Jessica, 35F. We clicked immediately. The chemistry is there, the communication is there, we're similar in the right ways and different in the right ways. We focus on giving to one another and looking after the relationship whilst still maintaining our individuality, friends, interests, etc. Jessica has a friend, we'll call him Bob, 39M. Jessica mentioned Bob at the start of the relationship. As the weeks passed, it became evident they were close. I asked Jessica if she and Bob had hooked up in the past, to which she replied they had kissed once when they were drunk. On this basis I chose to continue with the direction the relationship was heading. Another few weeks passed and Jessica, Bob and myself went out for drinks. I quite liked him, however it was clear from his behavior he was attracted to Jessica. Not surprising as she's stunning and a lot of fun. It was also clear that they were closer than I had anticipated. Jessica was all over me the whole night, so no dodgy behavior from her end, but I can read Bob like an open book. That night when we got home I asked her if there was more than she was letting on and got a categorical, no, and a bit of a speech about how honest she's been with both of us. She's aware of Bob's attraction, however she stated that was his problem and not ours. Another couple of weeks passed and she mentioned whilst drunk that they had kissed more than once and seemed to be a frequent thing for a period the year prior, before we met. I chose to not say anything and create a safe environment for her to open up about it. We went camping 2 weeks later and were sitting by the fire with a few wines in us. Jessica mentioned Bob and I told her that her relationship with Bob seems more like XFWBS than just friends. She looked sad for a moment, then told me they had slept together once the year prior. She told me she lied because she didn't want to lose me. Told me how sorry she was and was showing it. She got quite upset and was scared I would leave. I'm a pretty understanding guy. However, if I had known this from the start I wouldn't have entered into a relationship with her. It's just too messy and I'm all about zero drama. Our feelings had developed at this point to a deep love for each other. I chose to continue with the relationship and forgive her. I feel like being with someone is a choice you make on a daily basis, and quite honestly I believe what we have is stronger than a mistake made from fear of loss of the other person. She hasn't seen Bob since in a personal setting, however, they work in the same place. She's told me she's been avoiding Bob and doesn't really want to talk to him. She also told me that now she's pulled away, his behavior is making her feel annoyed at him. I have in no way tried to control her actions. I don't bring Bob up or behave in an insecure manner. I've been giving this a lot of thought in the background though. We had a discussion about the situation a couple of weeks ago. I was very honest. I stated that I have no wish to control her and her relationship with Bob was hers to manage. However, I'm not going to lie to her and tell her everything is going to be okay and I won't make decisions based on her actions. That I wouldn't be in the relationship if I knew this from the start, and if any of her personal relationships had the ability to affect our relationship, it's this one she has with Bob, and that this could be a potential problem moving forward. Last night she spoke to me, telling me she feels Bob deserves an explanation as to why she's pulled away. She told me she was considering going for a pint with him to do this. I reacted calmly but said, "So we're completely clear on what you're asking of me. You want to go for a pint with a guy you had an intimate relationship with?" This prompted an emotional reaction. She told me they were friends and I was ignoring that element of their relationship. I reminded her that I had told her this could be a problem for me and didn't budge. I told her if she feels like that's something she has to do, she should do it. However, the person I entered into a relationship with had a friend she kissed once when they were drunk, and that I didn't sign up for a relationship where my girlfriend was maintaining a close relationship with an ex-romantic partner. On one hand I feel like I'm an understanding person and I want her to feel free to do what she feels is right. On the other I know this has the potential to force me to leave the relationship. She's told me if she has to choose there's no question and would choose me in a heartbeat. I don't want to have anything to do with her choice and will continue to make decisions based on her actions. I could do with some advice. Is this an appropriate way to handle this situation? Am I influencing her decisions without verbalizing it? I'm not jealous or insecure. I never bring Bob up in conversation. I maintain a calm manner and an open floor of communication. This is a personal boundary for me. I don't want her to feel like there's an ultimatum because there isn't. I would leave the relationship if she chose to maintain a close relationship with him, though I haven't verbalized this. Whether that's right or wrong is up for debate. Thanks so much for any input. Too long did not read. Current girlfriend of 4 months lied to me about a relationship with a close friend. Need advice on handling the situation. The bigger problem here is that she lied to you multiple times about the nature of their relationship. This alone should be grounds to leave the relationship, and she knew this, hence the lying. The fact that she insists on meeting him face to face to give him an explanation is pretty BS, and doubly so for making you feel bad about asserting your boundaries. You guys have only been going out for 4 months, tread carefully. She strings one guy along after sleeping with him and lies to another man about the first guy because she knows what she's doing is wrong. What you described is the definition of trickle truth, and you can be damn sure there's more to learn. But why bother? You already know this won't last. I think you should go your separate ways. It's been 4 months and she's lied to you and is not letting go of him. This doesn't bode well. I think you've handled it great besides the fact that she's lied to you multiple times and tried to make you feel bad for establishing boundaries. If I in your shoes, I'd have parted ways. Don't worry about him means worry about her. 37 female and 37 male. Together for 7 years and no proposal. Advice needed. I, 37 female, have been with my boyfriend, 37M, for over 7 years, lived together for over 6 and owned our home together for 5 years this summer. Marriage was something that started being discussed early on. I'm divorced so I wasn't in any rush, but we always planned to get married. At the 2-ish year mark we bought the house and I figured a proposal would be just around the corner after that. Around this time, I began dropping hints, and by that I mean making clear comments about it in addition to the discussions we already were having. Year 3 and 4 go by. I wasn't really upset about it yet, but I was sort of like okay, it's been long enough, and I started to wonder if there wasn't some reason this hadn't happened yet, but when I would bring it up I would get, I know I've taken a long time. I still plan on doing it, I'm sorry. At this point my dad got sick, in 2020, and he was dead less than a year later in 2021. At this point it's been 5 years together. After my dad passed I asked my boyfriend straight up what was going on, what the hold-up was and if there was something that was holding him back from doing this because it was starting to make me feel insecure at this point and I really just want a clear and solid answer. I was a little pissed off that my dad wouldn't get to be at our wedding, to be honest. He said there wasn't anything holding him back, he wants to, he plans to, he's really sorry it's taken this long, etc. etc. It was clear I was getting fed up and was feeling insecure. I gave myself a mental date, by the end of the year. This was in June. If he hasn't made any move, I was going to reassess. It came and went with nothing. I convinced myself maybe I hadn't given it enough time, would hate to ruin something he planned. By May, nothing had happened. So I bring it up again, very clearly and matter of fact. I get the same answers as before, but this time he adds that with everything that went on with my dad and stuff he didn't feel it was the right time because he didn't want to propose during a crisis. Okay, I guess, he says it's coming. I think 6 months is it this time. That comes and still nothing, so we have a major come to Jesus talk in November and I told him that I was hurt. I didn't trust that he was being truthful with me anymore and that it had gotten to the point where I was getting scared that even if it did come, I wouldn't be excited anymore. I told him I was becoming resentful and that having to bring this up time and time again was really killing it for me. Same answers, he loves me, wants to spend our lives together, dumb for not doing yet, etc. Now it's almost May again and nothing has happened. It's been 2 full years since the first major serious discussion about it and nothing. A couple of additional details. 1. I am not a fancy girl. I don't need much in terms of ring and a small ceremony is fine by me. He's always known these 2 things too. Financially, we are good. No barriers there. 3. We actually did pick out an inexpensive but pretty ring in Mexico that he took home and put away at the 3-year mark. 4. It's not as much about marriage itself for me. If at any point he would have told me he just didn't believe in marriage or whatever, I would have actually been fine with it. I've told him this, he's clear. I've given him every opportunity to state his feelings. I feel like I've been strung along and lied to. 5. I have one child, she's 13. Their relationship is great. 6. From year 5 until now, I barely bring it up in conversation anymore. I don't want to feel like I'm nagging. 7. He's always said he wouldn't want me to propose, he wants to do it. When I think about him stringing me along, it just seems too weird because he is really not the playboy type. He's very kind and sweet, and he's a good man who is generally loyal and honest, so because of this I also confused into thinking that my expectations might be the problem and it shouldn't matter if we are happy. I feel unheard. I feel like my needs and feelings obviously don't matter, and there's a part of me that honestly wonders what types of problems this would cause in the future. I'm at a loss. I don't know if I'm making a problem where one doesn't exist or if I should be standing up for myself. I will not issue an ultimatum. I have zero interest in a pity engagement, and the talking I've already done about it has already made me feel that way. I really don't know if there is even a point in bringing it up again. He knows exactly how I feel. He knows exactly how the delay has made me feel, and honestly, I'll probably just get the same answers anyway, but I have made it clear that he may find he loses me over this, and that has obviously not been taken seriously. I don't want to throw everything away that we've built, but I want to honor myself too. We have a family trip to Italy in 2 weeks with my mom and my daughter. We talked about having a romantic date night in Rome, and it made me think that this would obviously be the perfect opportunity for him, but there have been opportunities before and it really hasn't been brought up again, and we haven't planned any date night stuff at all. I should probably wait to get all up in arms until after the trip, but I really don't want to go there with any type of hope at all because I think that it would be a devastating final blow that I can't recover from, and it's hard to adjust my expectations around that and not feel cynical about it. Advice would be appreciated. He doesn't want to get married, and you've empowered him to keep pushing the possibility back. From his POV, he is getting everything he desires from the relationship. So, either propose to him yourself or accept that he will not marry you and govern yourself accordingly. Your boyfriend doesn't want to be married to you. I've seen this so many times. You guys will break up and he will marry the next female that comes along. Put yourself out there and start meeting people. He will never marry you. He's not going to propose in Rome either. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. He's going to keep moving the goalposts. You already did all the things most people save for marriage, so there's no need to actually get married. You need to decide whether you're okay with that or not. You know in your heart. It's not happening, and the sooner you abandon the sunken cost fallacy, the quicker you can start to sell the house and move on. Use your trip to Rome as a last chance, for yourself too. You don't want to give an ultimatum. You don't want to break up, but he's not proposing and he knows how you feel about it. You either have to change your own position of giving an ultimatum, breaking up, or making peace with yourself that he won't marry you, and you have to stop bringing it up. Whatever happens now, you're already deep in resentment to him for letting it go on this far, especially with your dad. So sorry BTW. But if that couldn't bring you guys together as a life is short, let's make the most of it, thing nothing will. Personally, I think your dude is quite happy with your situation and only strings you along with promises to shut you up to stop him feeling guilty. My girlfriend, 27 female, and me, 25 male, have been dating for 5 years and I just want it to be over. Hi. Yes, this is currently ongoing and actively stressing me out. A bit of backstory. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 5 years and it hasn't been all bad. Early in our relationship, it was a big honeymoon phase. We rushed into the relationship and moved in together. Circumstantially it made sense at the time, but now I just feel like we rushed into it. As the relationship progressed, I found out we don't really share many hobbies. My girlfriend is a runner and a film buff, whereas I love musical theater and video games. These sometimes overlap in regards to music, film, but feel forced instead of natural. We rarely can go and do fun things together beyond going to a movie, theater performance, and the occasional coffee date. Beyond hobbies, we both are stubborn and neurotic at times, so we struggle to meet in the middle on a lot of things, which leaves me to compromise most of the time. My girlfriend can compromise too, but it's after I reach my breaking point. Throughout the later of the 5 years, I've noticed some other things that really get under my skin. I definitely am dramatic, theater, so I have my moments of gossip, but we seem to have different levels of gossip. On one hand, I like to discuss hypotheticals on people's lives, like people watching and storytelling, but my girlfriend will likely comment on weight, appearance, and level of personal annoyance. A situation that is stuck in my head is during a dinner party my friend and his wife invited us over. I thought it was a bit awkward but enjoyed the time. My girlfriend makes sure to note that the wife was ugly and the husband was way out of her league. That really upset me and I made sure to let her know that it upset me. Yet it was not a big deal to her. Our household chore scheme has turned into making each other feel bad for not doing a chore or two instead of helping each other out. I will do the dishes but my girlfriend will leave crusty dishes for long periods of time for me to scrape. We arranged a deal for her to do my laundry and I pay her for it. Well, I've been out of laundry, socks and undies many times and I've started my own loads only for her to get upset that I'm doing it instead of her. Monetarily, we share rent, utilities and food. I pay for her cell phone, laundry and pet food, litter. I wouldn't be stressed about this if I was reminded every time I help myself to a snack. You know I got those for me, right? We haven't had actual sex in 3 years. We've done some sexual things rarely. When prompted, it's usually a pain thing and that she needs to see a gyno. This has been years going on and many conversations. I have decided we have had enough conversations and that it is time to move on, but I'm worried about our 2 cats we share. Our lease is still active until January. My girlfriend is in her last quarter of school and I'm worried if I bring this up now she will depression slump into the abyss and fail her classes right before the school year is over. I'm not sure what the right move is or when and it's causing me a lot of stress and sleepless nights. Any help would be appreciated and I'm happy to clarify any details. Thanks y'all. Update. Thank you all for your various support and suggestions. I ended the relationship to much pushback from my now ex. But she insists that the relationship will work if I just have sex with her. I can't bring myself to do that and just make things worse in my opinion. She keeps desperately trying to make this work, including saying that we could do an open relationship. I don't know what to do at this point, but I have been stern and firm in my statements regarding not wanting the relationship. There's a lot of red flags in this relationship just from this short post. If you think the best thing is to end it, you might be right. You're 25 and haven't made love in 3 years? While you and girlfriend are living together? My guy, this relationship has been over for a while. She's using you for convenience. You're worth more than that, and there are so many potential partners out there who can hold their own in a loving relationship. Set your affairs in order and let her go. Wait until she's finished her semester, then tell her you've grown apart and it's over. Break the lease if you have to, probably cost you, or find a roommate to help her out. But get out. You are both just wasting your time, youth together. This probably won't help you, but I'm currently procrastinating ending my relationship, and while mine is passably fine, yours definitely bad, dysfunctional enough to end with 0 questions. You don't need any of this shit. This relationship is toxic. Your partner is supposed to bring you peace, not pain. This isn't a healthy relationship for either one of you. Both of you need to see a therapist before you start dating again. Being together means your work together and compromise. I'm exhausted just reading this. I, M23, am beyond confused with my now ex-girlfriend, F22. We have a 7-week-old daughter together. So she broke up with me 2 weeks ago. The argument was messy. Things were said that simply cannot be taken back. It was really a rough breakup. She packed her bags and left. The following night she texted me that she still loved me and she was sorry. 2 days after, we were meeting to take our daughter to a doctor's appointment where she told me she no longer has any love for me. She's happy the relationship is over. The last 2 days at my place was hell and that she's really happy living with her auntie. On Wednesday she decided and I agreed that we would only keep in contact about our daughter and reassured me that we would never get back together after I confessed my love for her. Hours later, after deciding this, she sent me a TikTok video that reminded me of her, which she said, "I had to send you this." I didn't reply. She replied to a Snapchat story that was unrelated to our daughter also. Saturday, she asked how was our girl doing, as she is staying with me from Thursday until Monday. I'd simply respond that she was doing great and that was it. Same on Friday and on Saturday. Today, she asked me how our daughter was doing and after I responded she immediately video called me, which I declined. She then asked could she, which I just agreed to. As soon as I answered she smiled but immediately started crying. She said it's because she misses our girl so much. But I knew something else was up and she just wouldn't tell me. As conversation went on, she would talk about other things, how her day was going, and ask me about my haircut and interests and hobbies that we both shared. I didn't bother stopping her even though it was her decision to solely keep it baby related. I was just confused. She then told me that her auntie's house didn't feel like home and that she was up last night and couldn't get much sleep. She then also mentioned that she hates that our daughter has to travel up and down to be with me and then her, even though it's just shy of a 15-minute drive. I reassured her that I am here for her, whatever she needs, I can help out, and I told her not to be stubborn and that she's not always right, and if she truly wants to reach out to me about certain things she can. I am really unsure what she wants, she confuses me so much. I am here for her and she knows it, but it's as if she doesn't want to admit that she feels lonely without me. Yes, she may miss our daughter, but it's clear she doesn't want to be living with her auntie anymore either. I'd take her back to my place if she asked. I'd support her. I know after pregnancy is a tough time. I am not looking for a relationship with her. I just want to support her and the best interest for our little girl. She's a very young mother demonstrating some extremely concerning behavior. You need to put your own needs in this relationship on the back burner end. Make sure she gets assessed for postpartum immediately, and by an actual trained medical professional. Not just like a conversation or your best guess. Making some extremely serious decisions immediately after the birth of a child. She could have postpartum depression. She needs to get checked out. Well, she's 22 and just had a baby, so she's hormonal and emotionally immature. They're not exactly a great combo, and I'd take a guess and say it wasn't planned. So she's also probably extremely confused on what the fuck she wants to do with her life now. If you can, reach out to the aunt. Make sure she has someone in her corner looking out for her. She either is struggling with PPD or she's just another young and unprepared mom trying to figure things out and handling it poorly. But either way, you probably can't fix her, so just make sure she has someone around her that is looking out for her. Sounds like she may have postpartum issues and needs to see a doctor to get checked out. Her behavior sounds a little erratic and she needs medical support to get better. You should offer her the support, but obviously wait until she is better to see if your relationship can still work. Sounds like she might have postpartum depression. Not sure how you could address it with her without pushing her further away, but someone needs to. Do you have a trusted mutual friend or relative that might talk to her?